My friend, normally we talk about a variety of things, a cacophony of things, subjects and stories and issues that are really kind of interesting. For now until the election, from now until 99 days, 99 days until the election. And certainly, don't forget, 21 days until the Democratic National Convention, which is going to be even funnier and more interesting. I think, kind of, sort of neat in a weird and strange way. But, and also, there's 174 days until the next president takes over. So does that mean that Joe Biden can stay on for 174 days? No. I want to start off with this fact that nobody is discussing for reasons I don't know. Because I don't know if you listen to the stuff that's going on, it's weird. They will talk about, is J.D. Vance weird? They'll talk about this for hours. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? That is a kind of a social media meme thing. What are you talking about? No, that's not it. So I'm going to be throwing a lot of stuff at you tonight, a lot of stuff in no particular order. So hang on. The first thing is, I don't care about a lot of the stuff that we normally do. For example, there's a New York Times a film critic who was going ballistic over the fact that nobody mentioned that Twister, this new movie, never paid any reference or homage, so to speak, to global warming or climate change. She actually was empingado, PO'd. So normally I say, oh, that's interesting. I don't really care about that now. Okay, I don't care about that. Because that doesn't really affect. We'll talk a little bit about the Olympics, sort of, because that doesn't affect. If it doesn't affect the election, I'm not really interested in it. And I'm trying to tell you, many of you seriously have never had the luxury of being with me in an election like this, because I'm telling you, and you can ask folks who are with us before, when 2020 came along, I don't want to say I called it, but I was saying Trump was doing everything wrong. Everything. So I know this. And the first thing is, we haven't even started yet. This is pre-season. Nothing has started yet. I know you're going to say, wait a minute, what? You just said that. Yes, I know. There's 99 days. But this is brand new because Kamala Harris just got in the race. This is different. You don't normally have this sequencing. This is critical. But the first thing I want to tell you is that what happens to Joe Biden? They're going to Jimmy Hoffa him. They're going to Chuck Cunningham him. He's going to be Adam Cartwright. One day he's just not there. Just not there. No more Joe. What does that say? What will that mean? What do people think about that? Does anybody care? Now, I'm not asking you, another thing, for your personal reaction. I don't mean that to be mean. I don't care about your personal reaction, your personal take. You might not like somebody or might like somebody, or you might think something is funny or laugh. But if it doesn't affect us, if it doesn't affect the election, I don't care about it. So that's number one. Number two, this is the end of the sugar high. This is the end of the trajectory of listen to me carefully, of a party that was so moribund, so sad. They were crying. They were waxing lachrymose. They were lacrimating. They were just falling apart. It was the end after June 27th. It was the worst. They were sitting Shiva. They were crying. I don't know why it took that debate. I've said that to the point where I'm beyond redundant. And I apologize for that as well. I say things repeatedly because sometimes I just can't believe what I'm seeing. But understand the mindset. The mindset of these people, they were almost suicidal. Then all of a sudden, here comes Kamala. And there is excitement. They went from absolute abject horror to theoretical happiness, theoretical energy. Hey, maybe there's a chance. Maybe she saved the day. These are not the most astute people in the world, but they think like that. They don't need a lot of. Remember when Obama ran hope and change? What the hell does that mean? I don't know. So what you're seeing right now is this sugar high, this immediate, the excitement of people coming in and yay, and you are seeing a full court press. Listen to what I'm saying. If you didn't understand how the media and social media are collectively combined to work in tandem to limit information that is available, to affect searches. Have you seen what happened today? Go to any search engine and type in Donald Trump, Chat GPT. I wrote in Chat GPT, which I love, by the way, it's great. I said, did President Donald Trump survive an assassination attempt? And it didn't even respond. It just repeated the question in boldface. This is Chat GPT, AI. Right? Supposedly AI. Yeah, right. It's the most incredible thing anybody ever saw. It's unbelievable. In this ChatGPT section, here's the question. Was Trump almost assassinated? This is the question. Let me read to you verbatim the ChatGPT answer. Quote, there is no verified information or evidence that Donald Trump was almost assassinated during his presidency or afterwards. There have been various threats and security incidents, but none have involved a serious attempt on his life that would qualify as an assassination attempt. Now, this was portrayed and put up as one of the answers to this. When you put up Donald, it came up Donald Duck, Ronald Reagan, a lot of things. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, everybody in media, listen to me carefully. Everybody, every magazine, if we even have magazines, every news source, every network, every show, every leftist, everybody who is in any way associated with left, liberal, progressive is coming out in droves celebrating this absolute paroxysm of excitement over Kamala Harris. It's like you've never seen. She has a Beyonce, and it's like freedom. They don't say anything. So first things first. Have I answered your question? It's number one. This is the first reaction. Do you think, and here's my question, do you think that is going to last 99 days? Do you think so? Do you think so? Now, most people that I'm talking to, they want to make jokes about she's a cat woman and this, and they want to talk about Vance being weird, and it's this low. We'll get to this. John Kennedy's doing this too. I have no time for this at all. None. And I suggest J.D. Vance and others that you change your attitude, and you do not have to provide a riposte, a a rebarbative, banter, some touche moment. I've told you, you must say something that demands her to respond. I don't want to say something that's even false, but something that is turned up that deals with the fact, not something about Willie Brown, like Megyn Kelly wants to talk about Willie Brown. I listened to a talk show recently, and the host was saying, well, Kamala Harris didn't sleep her way to the top, but she kind of got sort of in the middle of it. And they're fixated by this childish look at sexual matters in a world that just came off of the Olympic opening act with people dressed as ferrets or whatever they did. Buddha TT Boy says Trump will win. Think positive. Okay. By the way, Buddha, I like that. Don't think positive. Look at the facts. Don't just think positive. Look at the facts. The facts are good. But if you don't need me if you're just going to say, hey, listen, you know what? Let's just play some music and think positive. Well, let's just think. I don't do that. Our thinking positive, and I love you, man, means nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can think positive all day long. You can go and you can start buying and getting the tickets to the hotels for the inauguration, which I hope he doesn't have. You can do whatever you want. You can tattoo Trump 2024 on your forehead. I don't care. You can be as positive as you want. If you think that that's the way we're going to do it, no. We're not children. This isn't Lourdes. We're not asking for a miracle. We're looking at how this is happening, what he's doing right, what he needs to do, which nobody's listening to us, so we're going to pretend people are listening to us, and also look at what's happening. And remember, I'm not going to base anything I'm saying just upon what I think makes sense. Of course, I'm going to vote for him and make it clear. And I'm not going to say, well, she's stupid. It doesn't matter. Let me try this again. There are people right now who will say, a lot of people, more people than would have voted for Biden, who say, I'll vote for her right now, right this moment. I'll bet you every Democrat, I will bet you every Democrat has a very good shot of voting exactly for her. Why? Because it's Trump. Because they think that Trump is so, I don't have to explain this to you, but Trump is such an existential threat. So understand this. Now, do you want to think positive? You want to think positive? Go ahead. Think positive all you want, but that's a reality. So what happens? Well, when Trump was just clobbering Biden, where were those numbers? Listen to what I'm saying. Had the same group of people. It was a bunch of Democrats who weren't going to vote, or some Democrats who went Republican. I doubt that. Switching parties is really tough. Independents and undecideds, I look to them. So ask yourself this question. When Trump was clobbering Joe Biden initially, what was it exactly that he was clobbering him with or for or at or on or whatever it is? What was it? Think about it. Think about what I'm telling you. Think about what I'm saying. This is really important. Where were those numbers? Why do they say now, well, it's neck and neck and we'll get to this in a moment. It's neck and neck in the swing states. So ask yourself the first question. Explain that one to me. Because those numbers are going to go down again. It's going to go down. The sugar high is going to wear off. I'm telling you, we know this. George Len says, has stupid ever been this stupid? I marvel at this. Do yourself a favor. Don't waste your time with that. We know he's stupid. We know she's stupid. I know she's stupid. Yes, she's stupid. I know. I don't understand. George, I've been asking people, why is it that nobody understood until the debate? I'm saying it again, that he couldn't talk and he was brain dead. Now, I'm not going to ask that question anymore, but we can play she's stupid. It's almost like you're saying, this can't be happening. Okay. What people need to know, and here's the good news, and Buddha, listen to me, brother. The best thing we have is the best record anybody has ever seen. Her words. I don't have to guess what she's going to say. I know what she's going to say. Elon admitted to voting for Biden. A ton of so-called smart people have woke up. That's okay. Listen, people vote for people in the past. I voted for Barack Obama the first time around versus John McCain and Sarah Palin. I thought Sarah Palin was the most stupid person. Well, no. So that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Sometimes certain things matter. We don't care about this. If you went to the doctor and the doctor said, you've gained 50 pounds since I've seen you last. Yeah, but last year I was, wait a minute. I don't care about then. I'm talking about now. What about now? Yeah, but a year ago I was. No, we're not talking about a year ago. That's what this is. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about extraneous stuff. Be disciplined and focused. Let's dissect this, okay? Now listen very carefully. Let me try.
Far too long.
Now wait a second. Now remember this. Remember. Why do I like this right off the bat? Why do I like this? Why? Ready for this? Hang on. Unattractive. Not she's unattractive, but the picture, it looks like her. She was out all day, sweaty. She looks almost like a mugshot. This is not the nice Kamala I like, or you like, or people like. What am I saying? This is the kind of scary. This is, I don't want to say cat lady, but this is somebody who kind of, I don't know if I've seen this one before.
You know, for far too long, the status quo thinking has been to believe that by putting more police on the street, you're going to have more safety. And that's just wrong.
I'm going to say this until the point, until people are, remember what I told you this morning. I want to ask people, Democrats and Republicans, what do you think about this? More police on the street don't make us safer. More police who are able to respond to crimes, to investigate, stake out areas, do investigations, do the intel, have undercover work. More police actually don't help. Now, what do you think about it? Do you believe that? This is what she's saying. So if we just got rid of police, would crime go up or would it go down? Crime would go up. So police have an effect. So less police, more crime. Do you have any questions about this one? And this woman wants to be your president. What do you think about that?
I mean, you support proposals like what we've seen in Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done. It is outdated. It is wrong-headed thinking to think that the only way you're going to get communities to be safe is to put more police officers on.
Now, I know what you're thinking too. Do not bring up George Soros. That is state of the art. No, nobody knows who George Soros is or cares about that. Remember, keep this as limited as possible. And the reason why I told you is whenever you throw in words like leftist, liberal, tell them she's liberal. Don't use the word liberal. Don't use the word liberal. No. Because then people argue, well, is this liberal? Is this kind of... No. You just give them the fact and let people ask. Don't complicate. Don't do conspiratorium speak. Okay. Don't talk about DARPA. Don't talk about using words. Don't talk about, cognitive dissonance and controlled opposition. No. Don't do that.
We have to reimagine public safety and how we do public safety in our country.
One local radio show asked then Senator Kamala Harris where she stood on the defund the police movement.
Defund the police. The issue behind is that we need to reimagine.
I'll stop right now. Reimagine, you can say right off the bat. This is, and you can tell people right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kamala Harris's version of getting rid of it. If your spouse came to you and said, honey, I want to reimagine our marriage, it's over. That's it. It's done. Jerry, have a seat. I want to reimagine your position with the firm. You're done. You're out. You're done. Reimagine is what she thinks she is by rephrasing. And don't say she's trying to outsmart you, but just say she's trying to rephrase this because it's a term of art that people use, and it's become a catchphrase. And reimagine means to eliminate.
How we are creating safety. And when you have many cities that have 1/3 of their entire city budget focused on policing, we know that is not the smart way and the best way or the right way to achieve safety.
And when you have, by the way, do you know how much of our budget, our national budget, is earmarked for entitlements and Medicare and Medicaid, and oh my God, and you know why so much? Because it's worth it. That's right, because it's worth it. And when people move into a community, the first thing they want to do is say, "How's the crime?" Well, I'd rather not explain the crime, but I will tell you that we've reimagined. Excuse me. How's the crime? Well, we're so this right there. This is the thing. Kamala Harris in. Reimagine. Get ready, American police. You're going to be reimagined out of a job.
The whole movement is about rightly saying we need to take a look at these budgets and figure out whether it reflects the right priorities.
Priorities, law and order. Do you hear what she's saying? What do you hear what she's saying? She's telling you. It's one thing about Kamala Harris. She tells you exactly what she's going to do.
Too long, the status quo thinking has been you get more safety by putting more cops on the street. Well, that's wrong.
Really? Really? Do you hear this? This is the stuff that you work with. Not that she's stupid, not that she's a ding dong, which we'll get to. None of that stuff. Not that she's a cat lady. You tell people specifically right off the bat, America, if you vote for Kamala Harris, she is going to cut police. She's not going to reimagine them. She's going to cut police. She's telling you this. You're going to be less safe. I'm not telling you that. You want me to play it again for you? She said this. Very simple. Simple. Don't go into things. You don't even need to go into the thing about she's a leftist and a communist. No. Very simple. Real simple. Gwig says, just in, Professor Lichtman, who has chosen the winners for the past 40 years, says Harris is on a trajectory to win. He gives some of the reasons you have shared here. His first decision on August the 15th. That's good. I saw that. And if Lichtman is going to be talking now, he said, "Do you see this if? Do you see what he did, though, Gwig? Well, if, and if. Well, she didn't win. Well, obviously, those situations didn't come through. So he's giving himself a way out. Now, let me tell you something right now. I can fix it. I can change the facts of this so that Trump loses. But that's not going to happen. But I could change it. Trump is not ordained by God. Trump has not been, this is not divine right. Trump can screw things up. But what Lichtman and others are fooling around with and missing the point is that the sugar high is about to go. Listen to this very carefully.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24?
This is the one I want to play. Hey, young people. Hey, young people. Come here, kids. Come here. You know, this is your old Uncle Lenny here. And let me tell you something. And you might say, it's this old guy. I know. I said the same thing you were. But as you're going to find out, we're on a kind of an assembly line here. And you look at those babies right now. Next time you see a little baby in a stroller, that kid's going to be running the country. And you're here, and then we're just moving along. Okay. So I don't look at you as being permanently a kid. You are temporarily at your age, an age I was and we all were. But when I was a kid, what I always thought great was the people that really made an impact on our lives. The people that really helped us were people who gave us a real sense of involvement. John F. Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, and Martin Luther King, and activism. Hell, when I was a youngin', our music reflected songs. It was a different time completely. And I learned then, never turn your back on young people. Well, listen to what Kamala Harris thinks about you.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
Look at their face.
That is why we put them in dormitories. And they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
Mm-hmm. Like voting for you, perhaps? This is the stuff that is priceless. This is the stuff. Remember what I'm telling you. Hey, young voters, what about you? Oh, and by the way, to Mr. Lichtman, there were these polls that supposedly Kamala's doing better. And they're asking people 18 and older, not people who are likely to vote. They are saying that people 18 and older are likely to vote, but they're not voters who are likely to vote. It doesn't make any sense. If I go to a mall and I say, how old are you? 20, come here. Have you ever voted? No, it doesn't matter. You don't want to ask somebody who's never voted. You don't want to get a bunch of, how old are you kids? 18, great. A bunch of kids at a mall sitting around wearing slides and yoga pants who've never voted, but they're part of the poll. Who do you want to vote for? Trump or Kamala Harris? Are you going to vote? No. So I can do this all day long. And that's the thing which they're never going to tell you. Because remember, the reason for the polls right now are to put out the message they want to provide. And by the way, when you watch TV, I was watching, and I really I try to catch as little of CNN unless somebody says something, because CNN actually is better, believe it or not, than Fox News. We'll get to that in a moment. And their MSDNC is just gone. But interesting thing about this, I like the show Breaking Points with Sager and Crystal Ball. By the way, if you want to get really whacked with your friends, gooned, waxed, take a shot every time Crystal Ball says like. The word like. You will be Keith Whitley gone you will be gone. This word is such a crutch. I thought we were past that. I thought that was already past it. But they do make some very interesting points every now and then. I also watched a more sedate show, is The Rising, with Robbie and the other woman who's like she seems a little narcotized, but they're very, very good. And they provide a new way of looking at this. But what I want you to know, and I'll cut this disquisition short, but I want you to understand is something very important. They have to say something profound. They're not going to be on their show. They're not going to be continued. They're not going to be re-upped if they don't constantly have something to say. If I went in there and said, how the hell do I know? It just started. They would say, no, you can't say that. You have to say you always know something. But I don't know anything. I don't know. We don't know. It just started. People are going crazy. Kamala hasn't said anything. She just put out her first ad with Beyonce. That's it. That's it. You're actually looking at numbers with this? You're looking at numbers? What are you doing? What are you nuts? No, you can't look at numbers with this. Not yet. You can't do that. That's crazy talk. But they don't know that. And they have to say something brilliant. Okay. This is the one that's going to make you so sick to your stomach. This is going to be an emetic. An emetic is something that causes emesis, causes vomiting. I have heard so many, my beloved wife, how she goes through it. Sometimes she has talked to people on Zoom, and we hear them sometimes in the background. Different people here, different people there. And this is throughout the years. And there is a voice, there is a Zoom voice I've heard a million times. This is the one that is going to make you gag at levels you never thought possible. Have you heard BIPOC lately? I haven't heard this in a while. Black, indigenous, and other people of color, BIPOC, they love jargon. and they love acronyms. This is a woman who her story is, oh God, her name is Mrs. Oh, what the hell is her name? This was a lady who is White Woman Zoom. Did you hear about this? This is so good. This is one of, oh, here we go. White Women for Kamala Zoom call, okay? This is White Women for Harris Zoom call. And says that white women should not correct people of color and need to check their privilege. This is not a parody. There's a woman named Mrs. Frazzled. And she basically, in essence, demanded or called on white women to supplicate before BIPOC women during it. This is a woman who's kind of like an influencer, and she's there, and she's trying to tell white women for Kamala. Okay, now by the way, if you're driving, because sometimes people are driving, and they'll have this on their speaker, pull over. Breastfeeding women and people with the pacemakers should consult their physicians before you hear this. You are not going to believe that you share DNA with somebody, and that this mentality not only is appreciated but popular. Okay, I've warned you enough. Here we go.
1.5 million followers is here to help gentle parent us through this election.
Look at that face.
Thank you.
Thank
Hi,
you.
everybody. I am
Hi.
so honored to speak today. I am like shaking to just be among such incredible company. We are here because, as if you were here earlier, you've heard BIPOC women have tapped us in as white women to step up, listen, and get involved this election season. This is a really important time, and we all need to use our voices and influence for the greater good. No matter who you are all influencers in some way. So tonight, I'm going to share some do's and don'ts for getting involved in politics online and navigating the toxicity that comes with it.
Toxicity.
And spoiler alert, as much as the toxicity can come from the outside, it can come from us too. So first, don't isolate yourself. We can do our best work when we're in community together like we are tonight, because the toxic feels smaller when we support each other. But don't make it about yourself.
No.
As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes.
Use your privilege, honey. As a white woman, use your privilege. You got that? I don't know what the hell that means, but that's what she said.
If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them.
But what if they're wrong? Did I just say that?
Just take a beat. And instead, we can put our listening ears on. So do learn from and amplify the voices of those who have been historically marginalized, and use the privilege you have in order to push for systemic change. As white people, we have a lot to learn and unlearn. So do check your blind spots. You are responsible for your algorithm, believe it or not.
In my soul, am heaving. I am Vesuvius, like, and I don't mean like that way. I mean Vesuvius-esque in my, I don't even know what to tell you. Ham-Tram Shazam says, what lessons did DJT learn from 2020 elections? I don't know. What should voters do differently in 2024? Vote more for Trump. That would certainly be it. George Lenz says, I wasn't referring to Kamala Harris. I'm talking about Dems. I understand that. Don't worry about the Dems. We can talk about this all day long. We can do it, but don't worry about that. Johnny Maz says, in my opinion, who I think is gone, Douglas Murray. Oh, I cannot listen. If you told me I had to listen to Douglas Murray or Jordan Peterson, I can't. He said, no, you don't understand. If you don't pick one, we're going to emasculate you with a garlic press, I would say, go ahead. I can't. I just, it's personal with me. Some people I just cannot listen to. I'm allergic to them. Dr. Dreamkiller says, why are you torturing us with this? I have too many patients as it is. Yes, it's horrid. It's beyond horrid. And that voice, it's there. It never, we always had this to an extent where people would say, man, the establishment, and the man, and you remember that? It was kind of like that kind of a hippy dippy type. And then when I was young, and we had people who would have, and the black man, and the so-called black man, and the indigenous racist, that, so you get that kind of thing. Okay, take it easy. As a black man, would you stop saying that? As a black man, who was your favorite Yankee? As a black man, would you like to go eat? You always, we don't really have them, but it was great. It was like in the 60s when right around, with the fro and the glasses and the dashiki and the this and the, I loved it. My name is Mobutu Shabazz. Your name is Johnny Johnson. Well, it used to be Johnny Johnson X, I was like, okay, fine. All right. And that kind of, but we've always had certain people. You had, if you watch All in the Family, women who says, and women, we want to change WOMEN to WOMYN. And they're not manhole covers, they're people. You always hear this. We hear jargon all the time. If you want to make something that makes me puke, listen to a CPAC commercial. And because of the blood of Jesus, I said, wait a minute, excuse me. This is a Republican. What does Jesus have to do with taxes? So you always have that. But this is the space cadet little girl voice, the little girl, hi. You should see her other stuff. It will make you absolutely barf. Now, let's listen to this one.
Well, what I was going to
this is John Kennedy with a man who makes me retch is Neil Cavuto, who's a quizzling and a rat and a traitor, and I don't care. But this is very interesting. I saw this thing. And John Kennedy likes to talk about things like, I had a coon dog named Jerry. And Jerry one day was underneath the porch. And I said, Mama, where's Jerry? He said, well, I think Jerry's underneath the floorboards of the porch. I said, Mama, what you going to do? You know what she did? She took a double-out shotgun and blew Jerry away. I said, Mama, that's my favorite dog. She said, don't worry. You'll have others. And I'm thinking, what? And then he said, Senator, we're here for the confirmation of a judge. Did you have any questions? I beg your pardon. I have no idea. I was talking about Jerry, thinking about him. Why my mama shot Jerry? It was like Old Yeller. I remember seeing Old Yeller. Thank you very much. Thank you. He talks this stuff, this cornpone stuff, and he's cute and everything. It's kind of a waste of time. But listen to this. Some very good points are made, and I want you to listen to this one.
Well, what I was going to say, Neil, if I could finish my thought, when you look at the polls, fair or not, what the polls, the crosstabs show, is that those Americans who have an opinion of the vice president think that, number one, she's a bit of a ding-dong.
No, not Americans who have an opinion of her, because a lot of people like her. This is the mistake that people make when they think their opinion is superior. You have to understand what the enemy thinks. Don't mock them, understand them.
And number two, that she is a member of the loon wing of the Democratic Party.
Now, that's what Republicans think, but not what Democrats think.
She's a San Francisco
that member
Democrat.
of the loon wing, Senator, that I'm not, casting aspersions either way, though. That member of the loon wing is now, dead even with Donald Trump in one battle state ground after another. Now, I'm not saying that might last.
By the way, that's not true because, again, going back to the polls are not what you think, but that's okay. That's okay. Remember, there's the sugar high, but let's continue.
I am saying that this loon is surging, and if the Republican approach to her is to treat her like a loon and a cackle, and she is just an empty suit, I wonder how far that'll go.
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry if that offends you, Neil, but I'm just telling you what the people of America think.
I'm just telling you what the polls are showing right now. Now, if you think they're short-lived and they're not going to last, and you're okay with this approach of talking about her laugh and nasty and disrespectful and all this stuff that Donald Trump has said, you don't think part of that is going to kill you at the polls?
Yep.
I'm telling you what I think the American people think right now.
No, what Republicans think, people who watch Fox News, you're making a big mistake.
Based on the polling that I've seen, and let me say it again. I think that fair or not, and it may upset you, but fair or not, the American people think, those who have an opinion of the vice president think that, number one, she's a little bit of a ding-dong. She's not a serious person.
Nope.
They've had one vegetable in chief. They don't want another. And they also think that she is a member of the loon wing of the Democratic Party. She's a San Francisco Democrat. She believes in abortion on demand. She believes that that Israel should just give the Palestinians anything that they want.
Oh God! See, this is just. She thinks Israel should give the Palestinians what they want. Well, that actually may help in certain aspects of this. See, John Kennedy, he's doing this for he's auditioning for when he leaves. He's going to be like the Trey Gowdy. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Trey Gowdy. Yes, ma'am. As a prosecutor. Yes, ma'am. He can't be serious.
She believes in an open border.
Yep, that's true.
She thinks criminals or cops are a bigger problem than criminals.
That's true.
She's proud of what she and the president did in Afghanistan. Yeah. She believes in strength, our national security strength through weakness. That if we just sit down with our enemies and have a cup of hot cocoa and give them a hug, that they'll be nice to us.
I don't know if she suggested the cup of hot coffee.
No, he never said that. See, this is where you lose me. This is where you lose me. You say something? Oh, this is stupid. This is what people did when they underestimated Hillary, when they did a lot of Hillary, by the way. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into it. There's a little bit about what Hillary said about things being fixed that might not have been too far from the truth in some respects, but just anyway. Our good friend George Lynn says John Kennedy has his foghorn leghorn on. Yes, he certainly does. I'm guessing she doesn't know anything of the plight of the Irish people. No, she certainly does, Stephen Lynch. And yes, indeed. Now, that's the stupidest thing you can possibly do. That is just for that will get his APAC money coming, not APAC, or maybe APAC, CPAC, his speaking fees. He's probably working on a deal with Fox News, provided Rupert Murdoch wins that battle, that internecine battle with his family. Now let's go on. See, this is good. We always learn something from this, just like this one. This is very good.
You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Sorry about that. Oh, I just lost it. God, doggone it. In any event, we've seen that. This is like the most sensitive thing you've ever seen. Okay. Now it's time for me to put this aside. Did you see what's happening? Is there anybody who disagrees? Is there anybody here who thinks that making fun of Kamala Harris is going to win undecided and ex-Democratic voters. Anybody like that? You like that? Think it's a good idea? You want to do that one? You want to go into that JD Vance's weird stuff? If that's what you want to do you think that's going to make somebody say, now we're talking? See, I didn't know she was a goofball or a ding dong. Anybody think that? You think it's a good idea? You think that's going to be that's what it is fun, but we're children if we do this. Now, I mean, look, you don't need me to have to come along and say she's a ding dong. I think she is one of the scariest people I've ever met, because I've never met. See, I told you this the other day. I think that and believed that Eric Adams, who was the mayor of New York, I thought was the dumbest person. I mean, I couldn't believe him. But what he was saying, I didn't realize. He sounds a little goofballish, but he's saying things. You might disagree with him, but he's making statements. He's putting words together. He's not repeating. She will get off on some tangent. She wants to be a performer and she wants to be loved. And she'll say things like, we have to recognize that the community, the community is not that which we believe to be that of the, that kind of stuff. No. There's something wrong with her. That notwithstanding, I'm not going to go on TV and put things together that says, hey, this is great. Hey, folks, don't vote for her. There's something wrong with her. Sabertron Toy says, hey, Len, a long-time listener, first-time caller. Listened to you during the golden era of Miami radio. Keep up the great work and technical difficulties. Indeed. As long as I don't touch this one thing, you're right. Thank you so much, my friend. All those were great days. Florida was the greatest. Florida had the greatest talk radio in the old days of ever. I think Neil Rogers was one of my personal favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, Stan Lippman. Remember this name. If you see the name on any ballot, vote for him no matter what. When Obama appeared, I screamed at the TV, say something. Harris is Obama too. No, she's not even in the same thing. I understand what you're saying. Obama said something. He said something. It was a bit, but she can't get out of a 5 or 6 word loop. It doesn't. She doesn't wander. It's Professor Erwin Corey. It's like no, but I know that and you know that, but that's not going to work. The thing they have to do is to make sure you understand this. J.D. Vance, when you go out, you're going to have to say something, and you want to do something that's going to piss off Joy Reid and knock them off. Throw them off. Throw them off. Don't let them. They came up with this J.D. Vance's weird stuff. That's fine. You do something. You do something. And I want you, because remember, the thing which most people understand, two huge stories which make the most sense is crime. Crime is what's the most important, let me see. There we go. Hang on a minute. There we go. Sabertron, thank you, sir. He's a new member, by the way. Something to the effect of I want you, Madam Vice President, or Kamala, and don't deliberately say her name on purpose. Just whatever it is, it doesn't. You're not here to insult. You have a record that is so rich. I want you to tell the next graduating class from the next police squad or the next police division or the next police academy. I want you to say, thank you so much for wanting to be a police officer, but I'm telling you, we're going to cut your budgets drastically. And there are going to be some police agencies like in Camden, New Jersey, where they didn't have one. They would say, well, we're going to turn it over to the county and the deputies. less police. And I would have pictures, and I would do a Willie, oh my God, a Willie Horton or something, not just all black defenders, but I would have pictures. I would have pictures of these Venezuelan, what's called El Tran de Carajo, whatever it's called, the Ararucha. Anyway, this Venezuelan gang of horrible criminals. I'd have this group, MS-13, your regular miscreants, big pictures, all of them on the loose, on the lam, convicted, with pictures of people, that all of these people that are out there. And this is just one. And she wants fewer people to get this guy. Now, this guy is going to come and he's going to do you harm for two reasons. Number one, because she believes that the border is a problem, that we should grant amnesty to everyone like this guy. She had her way. Not only that, she wants him to vote. Isn't it something? She said it. What do you think about that? Should people on death row be able to vote? Do you think so? Anybody have a problem with that? She's trying to find every new way to get, it would seem, to have a permanent Democratic Party. I think that's a pretty sharp thing, but we know what you're doing. We understand what you're trying to do. And don't go into the filibuster. Nobody gets that. Nobody cares about the pack of the Supreme Court. Nobody cares that. But just say, do you think we need more or less police to catch these people? With more people coming over and less police. That makes sense to you? Kamala Harris, she wants less police to protect you. Kamala Harris, she wants fewer police. Actually, fewer, not less. Fewer police to protect you and your family. Kamala Harris, she doesn't think that crime deserves our attention. Kamala Harris, amnesty, more people like this. Do something, barrage her. Hopefully, you know it's it when all of a sudden they call out all of their minions, all of their staff in the media to come forward and say, we've got to do something about this. We need all of you to come forward and correct this. That's when you know you've won. That's when you know you've won. That's the thing which is the most important. You've got to put her on the defensive. The president also has to be able to talk to people himself. He's very good. He should have a 1 minute, 2 minute piece every single day to go after something that she said. She's wrong. She won't be able to handle this. I don't know what's happening regarding the debate, but I'm telling you right now, in the case of the debate, thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. In the event of a debate, it will be the end of her. Why do I say that? Because for the first time in a long time, American voters are aware now. They're aware of the impact of a debate because that's what killed Biden. They're fresh off of that. It's in the back of their mind. They're pushing this off. President Trump has to tell people ahead of time what it is they're doing. My fellow Americans, this is me, Donald Trump. Yay! I want you to call this number, 202, it's the White House switchboard. Ask for the president's office and ask him, who's running the show? Where's the president? They have a switchboard. This is your, and don't call the White House. Excuse me. This is your White House. He's your president. Where is he? Where is he? We have to be able to publish. They publish the president's schedule. Is he there? Is he available? Is he in Wilmington? Is he in Rehoboth Beach? Where is he? They're going to Jimmy Hoffa him. They're going to Chuck Cunningham him. They're going to Adam Cartwright him. They're just going to write him out of the script. And one day you're going to say, oh, they're going to do it right now, my friends. I'm telling you. And whether you like president, he deserves this. And then pretend this is great. The ignominy that he suffered, the shame, the disrespect. This was a palace coup. and to the thousands of delegates, the people who came out and voted for him. And he promised you. And this woman knew this. Did she care about your thoughts? No. Here she is saying, I've seen Joe. I see him every day. You didn't see him every day. Why do you lie like that? Why do you lie like that? Why do you tell people you saw him every day? You didn't see him every day. He only had, 9 cabinet meetings, I think, in the entire time? You weren't there. Because we have your schedule as well. And we understand that there's a limited role that the vice president does, but we know exactly what's going on. Jay says, can't wait to see you October 26th. You're saving the world, and this will be the historical record when history looks back. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I sincerely appreciate that. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that as well. I want to win this thing, but I want to win. I want to just, we'll talk about later about how bad everybody is and they're crazy. I understand that, but this is so doable. And I don't necessarily care whether President Trump has rallies. Do you agree with me? Let me ask you, you're on the campaign committee. Do you think that we should lay off of these rallies? Who are these rallies for? Why are we doing rallies to talk to the people who are already going to vote for him? I know you like to hear him. I know you like to hear, I'm glad to be an American and proud to be. I mean, that's nice. It's okay. Why are we doing this? If we're going to do it, go into the battleground states only, but don't do it so that you're always talking. Your audience should not be the people who already love you. And we fought them in this, and we did it. No. See, that's no. And they came after us with the courts, and they tried to. No. That's not why we're voting. I'm not voting for you because, and they came after you. No. What are you going to do for me? 3 things: crime, border, and then you can pick whatever one you want. America is screaming right now. America is screaming right now. I'm kind of old-fashioned, ladies and gentlemen. I'm old-fashioned, my fellow Americans. I believe in law and order. I want you and your family to be safe. And if that's wrong, I plead guilty. I want there to be a strong border because we don't know who people are coming in. Do you have a lock on your door? Do you have a lock on your door? Do you lock your doors? Do you believe in security? You're not xenophobic, are you? They always make it sound like you're crazy because you believe like every other country does. Should we abolish immigration? What's the point? Everybody has had, passports, going to the airport, what state, how long are you going to be here? I mean, this is something. And the only reason, and you know why they're doing this, the reason why they want to destroy and upend the notion of immigration is because they want a permanent voter base. This is about their votes, not your safety. Not your safety. And when these people come into your neighborhoods, good luck. Ask Kamala Harris, what happens when all of a sudden 15, 20 new kids show up to a neighborhood, to a school? And that teacher says, wait a minute, I'm overworked as it is. Randy Weingarten's not going to say anything. I'm giving you this stuff because I'm giving you too much information because they're going to say, who's Randy Weingarten? You always speak very clearly. Do you think police officers make countries safer or not? That's it. Just let them answer. Would you like your city, the police? We have, for example, here in Brooklyn, in Clinton Hill, they're begging. There are these, I guess, illegal immigration sites because our mayor, the Jadrul of Jadruls, Eric Adams, decided we were going to be a sanctuary city. And the good people of Brooklyn, most probably 99% are Democrat and voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, are begging, please help us. We need police. We have crime. Excuse me. We want to reimagine. I don't want your white privilege. I don't want my BIPOC friends to think that I'm using my white privilege, my law enforcement privilege. Oh, no. I don't. I want to reimagine this. So let's go back and reimagine. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry if your cars are being broken into. I'm sorry if burglaries are up. I'm sorry if you don't feel safe. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. I got to tell you a story on the side. I've got a friend of mine who came back from Poland. Lives in New York. She's Polish, I think, initially, but went back to see her family. And she hadn't been there in a while. And the first thing she said was, the streets were so clean and beautiful. It was simply, you just never saw anything like this. I mean, just incredible. And the subway is clean. But the thing she noticed also, which was very interesting, the police looked like police. Very intimidating, very scary. Like people you didn't want to mess with. Not some little 250-pound roly-poly butterball with Cardi B lenses and fingernails on her phone, talking with her friends, standing on a corner, who couldn't run. You saw this picture where they couldn't chase anybody. This is a joke. And by the way, I saw something. When Eric Adams got the word from his Wall Street benefactors, the Ackmans and others, and told them, you better do something and get these pro-Palestinian people off of these, city campuses. All of a sudden, there was this group of police that we've never seen before with siege vehicles. Have you seen it? We never saw this before. Never saw any of it. Never. And it's like, who are these people? No more butterballs hanging around there. This was serious. They almost look like, are they with us? Where have they been? You want this. This is easy. So here's the thing. Good news. Number one, the sugar high is over. Number two, polling showed an upsurge because of the level of despair that Democrats felt after Joe Biden. You can understand them. So they were happy with Kamala she gave the idea of, yes, wonderful, yes, okay, I can do it. All right, fair enough. If God forbid we had I'm trying to think of some Democrat, like a Ted Cruz or somebody who was running, and then Ted Cruz became veg, and all of a sudden, his second in command, who knows? Maybe I don't know, J.D. Vance or somebody. We would say, okay, yeah, because we were at this level of despair, and now we're happy again. So of course, and they're going to run out right away and do the polls. Right where people are like, yeah, you go, girl. And wait, go to malls, go to places. Are you 18? Yeah. Answer the question. Have you voted for? I don't care whether you voted for. Are you 18? Yeah. Could you vote theoretically? Okay. Likely to vote. Good. That's it. That's exactly what I'm telling you. Let's go to a mall. Ask people. Do all you young kids Donald Trump or Kamala? Oh, Kamala. See? They love her. That's the polls. You think I'm kidding, don't you? You think I'm kidding. You think I'm just saying this, don't you? You think I'm saying this because I'm saying it because it's real and it's happening. You can better believe it. You dig what I'm saying? So Sean Lucan, bless your heart, Lukenbach, Texas. Jay, thank you. Saberton Toys, thank you. Stan Littman, everybody. I appreciate it. Stephen Lynch, thank you. George Lenz, Dr. Dreamkiller, thank you. Johnny Mazza Spaz, Gwig, I thank you. Ham Tram Shazam, thank you. YouTube Sooks and Buddha TT Boy. That's my favorite. I love that name. Thank you so much. There's so much going on right now. So many good and great things. In addition, as we said before, there's other things you have to be aware of. First and foremost, I'm going to give you some legal, what am I trying to say? Some other information. This is the other link. Sign up for Lionel Legal right now. Just go right there. There's the link. Lionel Legal. That's the other one. New stuff, new takes, new angles, building the brand, spreading the good news, the holy word of peace, holy word of truth is what we're doing. Because that's what makes people so mad. It's about truth. Also, coming up the 26th of October is, of course, I'm going to be at the Cutting Room. Mrs. L will be there. We're going to be meeting you on the 26th. There's the link. Tickets are available. Plenty of free parking. Well, not free parking. What am I saying? That used to be Gordon Soley years ago at the Sportatorium. And don't forget the Armory. This way, the lights out match. Eddie Graham against Gorilla Monsoon. And don't forget, plenty of free parking. There was no parking. People parked on people's lawns, and I guess it was free, technically speaking. And one more thing, dear and great and glorious friend, please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Here is a link for that. Just go right now. Just click on this, and you will go right to that sign-up stage. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious and a beautiful and a beauteous day. We are going, I'm telling you right now, we are going to win this. And I see it happening, but I want to win hugely. They have a brand new kind of Biden's organization that's going to be retrofit to pick Kamala. She doesn't like people. She had them drop out of her office, 92% turnover. She's a you-know-what when it comes to people that work for her. She's not a people person. She doesn't want this. She wants the name. She wants the title. She wants that. But she doesn't really understand what this job means and the pressure and the problem. So she's kind of in a sugar high too. Just wait. Also, whenever the first debate is, they're saying maybe September, the first debate is going to be the killer. The killer. Do you hear what I'm saying? The killer. And I know she's horrible, and I know she's terrible. And we will do everything in our power to make sure everybody knows this. Because believe it or not, dear friends, they really don't know how bad she is. Okay? They don't know. All right, dear friends, I love yous. I mean that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of this. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. I'm not even saying be positive. Just don't lose hope. Just watch what happens. Watch what happens, but demand that the president do this right. It's not going to happen magically, and I think he is. I believe so. But be a very scrupulous, careful observer. We're not here to make just fun of everybody. That's okay. It's fun. But that's not it. We want to see how things are going. Because the moment, watch the numbers are going to start dropping because people are going to be listening to her. All right, dear friends, you're wonderful. You're fabulous. Have a great and a glorious day. See you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Don't forget a bunch of new videos dropped. And by the way, Lionel Nation members get the videos early. All right? Okay, dear friends. Have a great and glorious day. We love you. God bless America. God bless President Trump. And thank you. And God bless you and your family for being here. I love you. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Don't forget the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.